starting the live a little early. I just literally, folks. Ow, 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 ow. I'm going to do this while I wait for people to come in. Oh, I wasn't really well yesterday. I wasn't really sick, but I had a couple of dizzy spells.
Découvrez la nouvelle carte de crédit Tim's.
I do not speak French. But, you know, because I live in Quebec, right, I automatically have to have my ads in French. Okay, let's pop out the chat and we'll wait for folks to come in. Hey, Mama Dukes. Hey, Joe. You know, I didn't get out of bed till 10 after 1 this afternoon. I am not kidding. I'm not kidding. You know, call. What the hell is that? There we go. Call me lazy, but I wasn't feeling well last night. After Howie left, I had some supper, and all of a sudden, I got a dizzy. Well, it's not, you know, anything to do with supper, but I got a dizzy spell. You're still not out of bed. Thank God. Hey, Michelle. Oh, there's a knot there. I went to bed at like 8:30 last night because I wasn't feeling well. I was just headachy and I had a little bit of a dizzy spell, and I just was not up to par. Where are all my headbands? Most of them are seasonal ones. See what I mean? Mes petits chapeaux. But it's not that time of year yet, but that's okay. So Howie's gone to the races. And oh, don't lose those. My seeds that I ordered came yesterday. Hi, say hello in chat, because I'm about to go and shout everybody out that's there. These French marigold seeds of mine did not grow. Hi, Dudu. Oh, people. Give me a second, Gracie. Give me a second. Holy smokes. Climbing all over Mummy. Did you see the horsies? Did you see the horsies? Did they come and visit you? There's a video coming. Did you see the horsies? Oh my goodness. Okay, keep your paws there. Even though we've trimmed your nails, you still dig on the fabric. Oh, gotcha. Oh my goodness. Oh God, that feels so good. Where's my kiss? Serious? Thank you. Do you want a little treat? You want a little treat? Okay, you can get down if you want. You don't want to get down. You want that right away. Yeah, you get another kiss? Give me another kiss. Come on, treat for a kiss. You're a clever girl. Okay, you can have the third one for the day, but that's it. You get no more until liver treats at bedtime. Yeah, see? That's how easy it is. That's how cheap my love is bought. Dog treats. Okay, let me just fix this here. So, all right. Vienna, Austria. Oh, you put that in there, eh? Mimi from Vienna. Okay, let me pop out the participants and start saying hello. Hello, Carolyn L. Benjamin. Cheryl Altamare? Jill V. Joe Mama. Stay in bed, baby. You've earned it. Kathy Kraus. I don't know why I did it that way. It just sounded really cool. Michelle Barnhill. Mimi from Vienna. Minnesota Farmer's Wife. Mama Dukes. Philip Hencliffe. Rhonda. Robin Rose. And Walk Humbly WD. That's a great name, Walk Humbly. Okay, now I'm going to pop this out to the live chat and say, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Enjoyed your unboxing yesterday. We did that Thursday night. And I tell you, her nose was wet from having a drink. I got a wet spot in my cleavage. Ugh. Now, it's referred Henchlife. Oh, but you did it better than most. Henchliff. Hello, Philip. What's a small world, honey? What? I don't understand. Hi, it's gotta be KD. We had a blast with that, and I really hope that I'm not sure if it was a one-off thing. I'm really hoping these were my absolute favorite. They're like, you know those when you get cookies, they're almost like a cream cracker. They're not like really sweet, and this is like a like fruit leather, but not as thick. It's like cross between fruit leather and jam. Oh my gosh. And they came in these individually wrapped little things, and you know they're all gone, right? They were really good. Everything was really good except the shrimp treats and the seaweed we weren't fussy on. But Howie continued to eat that shrimp treat until it was gone. But he didn't open another one. Mama Dukes lives in a town not far from where I was from. Oh, that's cool. You know, the more we're on the internet together, especially when we're live, the more we realize how small the world really is. It's huge, but the internet has made it really small. And I had my first cup of tea. Oh, my goodness, Seashell, you're up. Is this late enough in the day for you, Seashell? So, yeah, the snack box was fun. It's actually quite chilly in here. I'm going to close my window. It's cool today. I'm going to tell you about the horses if you remind me. Okay, let's put, you're not getting any more treats. Mommy's putting the heater on. It's cold. Oh, hang on, folks. I have a baseboard heater in here, but it's covered in it's blocked. It's over here. And this is where a lot of my electrical runs from. So I had Howie turn off that heater right at the panel box. And this room gets so warm in the wintertime with just that little wee heater. Go lay down, Bubba's. Go lay down. So you're 6 hours behind. So it's like 8 in the morning for you, or like 8:30 in the morning for you. I worked in Pensoken for a few years, Route 30. Okay, that's you guys are having a separate conversation. Okay. Oh my God, that's good. Oh my God, that's good. I have to find out. I'll be right back. I have to find a hairband. Good, boo-boo. Get my baby. You just my crazy dog. No, the horses went home. That's better. I don't feel dressed without my hair up and my headband on. Ah, my little blue flower. Used to be 2, but 1 fell off. I think I'm going to be doing a craft section this year surrounding hairbands. I know I did one, but it didn't, it turned out okay, but I got some ideas. Excuse me. Oh. So, the other day, Gracie's freaking out, right? She's barking and I don't see anything. So I let her outside without her leash. And as I come around the motorhome, because I'm going out to work in the garden, and as I come around the motorhome, there's 2 horses in my driveway. And Gracie's like, nose to nose with them. And when that was really bizarre, because we know that we've spent a lot of time just getting Gracie socialized around people. And she's just getting socialized around other dogs. But horses, I had no idea how that was going to react. Her hackles were up a little bit, and she had that, okay, I'm not making any sudden moves. But as soon as the horses saw me, no, you're not getting any more treats. Honest to God, look at this face. No more treats. You've got food in your bowl and obviously water. Yes, I know. So anyway, hey, Leanne. My Putz House Village soon for Christmas. What's a Putz House Village? So I was really proud of her because I said, no, Gracie, you come back. Oh, she knows I'm talking about her, eh? I said, no, Gracie, you come back. What do you want? She's backing up with me. I backed up so she could get in front of me, but I pull forward. Don't make eye contact. So I said, come on, Gracie. Knock it off. You have food, you have water, you've been out for a poop. And you've had your treats. So go lay down. Mommy said, go lay down. Go lay down. She has a blanket over there. So I was really impressed with her restraint. Maybe it was the sheer size of these animals, but I was impressed with her restraint. And like I said, as soon as I came around the corner, the horse is like, oh, human. And they go up, right? And though this one horse has lived there for as long as we have lived here, but the other one's his buddy. And I guess a little cardboard painted village from the 60s and 70s. We had one in the 70s. Rhonda, could you send me pictures or explain in an email? Because I'm really interested in that. I'm really, really interested. So this morning, this morning, 1:30 in the afternoon, Gracie's got to go out. Well, this is what happened. I wasn't feeling well last night. I was kind of woozy and had a couple of dizzy spells, and I just wasn't feeling up to par. So I went to bed early. And then I got up, and I slept, folks. I got up. I stayed awake reading a book until almost 11. And then I went to sleep. I got up at 2 or 3, had a pee, put Gracie out for a pee. Got up again at 8, made some toast and tea, put Gracie up for a pee, came back to bed, and Gracie and I ate toast and tea in bed, and I read a little bit, and I went back to sleep around 9. And I woke up, it was 10 after 1. And I'm like, what? So I really must have needed it. Because I feel so much better today. But, she is missing Howie. And because he's the papa. Did you notice in the unboxing video how much he's starting to look like Santa Claus? It's like early in the year for that, isn't it? So he'll probably shave again soon, but I'm thinking he said the weather's cold enough. Like Howie's as good as a weather meter as the weatherman. Because when it's hot, he stays shaved. I only cut his hair once or twice a year. But when it's hot, he stays pretty shaved. He might be a little scruffy, but he's not definite. He doesn't start growing a beard like this until like September, October. So things are weird. It's actually try treat box. But thank you. Okay, the link will explain it. So I got up and I used the reason why I got up, I got out of bed at 1:30, and the reason you're getting the live stream at 2:30 is because it takes me an hour. I get up, I put Gracie out, I get up, I go to the bathroom, I get dressed, I brush my teeth, I go and put Gracie out. I make a cup of tea. I start my computer. I water my plants. I turn lights on. All that stuff takes me about 45 minutes to get ready for a live stream. And Gracie's at the door. Like, I come out of the bathroom dressed, and Gracie's at the door. I was like, oh, okay. And then when she gets out to the porch, her hackles go up, and she takes off to the other side of the pool. I'm thinking, oh, no, the bears are in my apple tree. Because I got, like, I don't know, half a dozen to a dozen apples on my tree. Pear tree is negligible this year. I don't care if the bears take it. There might be 4 pears on it. Because the blossoming of the pears and the apples is slightly different times. So, you know, the pear trees was around fire time, right? So she heads out over there, and I immediately turn on my phone, and I go, what is she looking for? I'm thinking bears, right? And I hear crackle, crackle, crunch, crunch, crunch in the bush, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's a bear, all right. I look over there, and there's 2 horses. My neighbor's horses are loose again. Apparently, they've gone away for the weekend, and the horses know how to get out. Word is out. TSA has been told mandatory masks on flights in October. With lockdown shortly after, blame being put on Canada CO variant control. I have no idea what that means, Michelle. Hey, Diane Zook. And we're not going to talk about it. Why? Because I'm no longer buying into the fear tactics. Like, I've been getting so upset about the woke. Okay, let me finish my story and then remind me, okay? So I got it on camera. You can barely see it. They're up in the bush. But Gracie's not, you know, it's like, stop, Gracie. Don't go any farther. And she goes and she does her business. And then the horses go walking down the road, and a car comes up, and get the you know, one of the people get out of the car, and they shoo the horses back. And so, I mean, it's really kind of cool. It's like, oh, the horses are out again, right? Exactly, Joe. And and it's just really cool. Because whenever we would go for a drive, there's a spot. Like, Gracie doesn't like hanging her head out the window because of her ears. Her ears have always been really, really sensitive ever since she was a pup. And she came to us with ears full of herpes. They look like herpes, just sores and suppurating sores and stuff. And we learned that it was corn, and we've taken her off that. But if she still eats something weird, sometimes her ears will get itchy and stuff. That's why you see me always rubbing her ears. It's her most sensitive spot. So so that was really kind of cool. But I just love being here with that. And when my treat box came, and I can't remember if they told me they were going to send me one a month to preview. I really hope they do, because that was fun. And if they send us one next time, we'll do it on live. Excuse me, I've got to plug my phone in. There we go. Next time we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Just because it was so much fun. But it was like I couldn't believe the comments. Oh, it's so nice to see Mr. Volfie in the videos and stuff. He's really shy. Isn't it sad that we have to be code talkers to exchange news? We're wind talkers. We're wind talkers. Our messages go out on the breeze. But what else came in the mail on Thursday was my seed order, Kentucky Wonder pole beans. I got 3 of them. I got 5 more. Do you know how I was canning my beans in the 3/4 quarts, the Classico jars? They're not a pint, they're not a quart, they're a pint and a half. I'm glad too, Mary. Hi, Donna. And I got my tall Utah celery and my rainbow blend carrots. I am not giving up on them. But the purple carrots, the purple ones I ordered, the ones I planted that nothing really came up because of the weather, they're already sold out. Cylindra beets, Copenhagen market cabbage. Now here's something new. I'm going to, are the seeds in there? There's seeds in there. This is called Quebec 5 tomato seeds. Okay. And apparently these are a tomato that's best for Quebec. Now, let's hope they're not like subarctic plenties and they're this friggin' big. But I'm going to be planting these next year along with my Manitoba tomatoes. And I got some sweet bell peppers. They're golden Cali Wonder and purple beauties. So I've already started getting my seeds for next year. And soon, I know it's only August, but soon we'll be talking about... I know! You found 2 really large zucchini that were hiding, going to shred and freeze for zucchini bread. Make sure you take most of that peel off, honey. Because when they're that big, the peel in the freezer gets really, really, really tough. It's almost like you get when you're eating zucchini bread. So make sure you take out or at least stripe the skin with a peeler. Because they get really tough and bitter, right? So I'm getting to the point. What were we talking about earlier so that I can coach my language properly? I'm getting to the point where I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about what's going on with all this woke culture, okay? Now, do you all know what woke, the difference between woke and awake is? Put it in the comments if you want it, if you think, if you know what does woke and awake, the difference mean to you, right? But they're trying their hardest. It's been going on since, I don't know, for a long time, but they are trying their hardest to manipulate us with fear. And there's a lot of us out here who are Gen Xers and the last of the baby boomers who just aren't buying it anymore, right? I mean, you're talking about kids that never had cell phones. Hell, when my dad would take us to the beach, and you couldn't walk there. It was probably 10 miles away. When my dad would take us to the beach in the summertime, I'd phone friends and say, do you want to go to the beach? Because we're going to the beach. But, whatever, right? And they'd show up at my house. And there'd be 3 or 4 of us. And we'd all pile in. If we all couldn't fit in the cab, we all piled in the back of my dad's 1975 Ford F-100. And, hey, Becky! And we'd ride in the back. The only thing we weren't allowed to do is my dad said, if I ever catch you standing up in the back of the truck when the truck is moving, it'll never happen again. So we all sat down with our backs to the window in the back. And we'd have a wonderful time. We'd go to the beach. There's a phone booth there now, but there was no phone booth. There was no snack shack. There was nothing. It was the beach and some outhouses. And we had a prearranged time for Dad to pick us up. And we'd spend the entire day at the beach. Don't ask me how we stay hydrated, because I never took bottled water or anything like that with me. We just swam and sunbathed and swam and sunbathed and swam and sunbathed. Somebody'd show up with a Frisbee. We'd play Frisbee. You know what I mean? The good old days. We drank water out of hoses. In the city, when I was we didn't move to the country till I was 12, but even when my mom was alive, I was 9 when she died, you could play outside. You were made to play outside. Nobody was sitting in the house watching TV. Saturday mornings, we got to watch TV till 1, and then it was out the door. You don't have something to do. You either you have a project going in your room, but you got on your bike and you went all over Toronto. Well, our area of Toronto. We'd go to Mosquito Park, which is, I think it's called Leslieville Park. We called it Mosquito Park. And on the corner of Jones and Queen. And I mean, as long as I was within voice range of my father and my dad's voice, and please don't jump out of your skins when I do this, but my father would step out the door and go, Beverly! Like that. And if I didn't make it home by the 3rd time he stepped out on the porch and called, I got the moccasin on my ass or on my way back in the door, right? It was like, right? But even if I was in Mosquito Park, which was, okay, we're on Papin Queen, all the way down to Jones, was like 1.5 kilometers away. But I swear to God, you could feel the air vibrate. Dad called. You couldn't have heard that. I said, I got to go, right? We got to go. And we'd run all the way home, and my dad would be standing on the porch waiting for the third call. I could hear, it's not that I could hear him. It was almost like I was connected to him and there was a resonance. Done with it. Just getting my grow on. I'm moving stuff into the hoop house this fall. Got stuff to plant and stack for winter greens. Hey, Wanda, Sheila, hi. You do learn to throw your voice. I'll never forget when we lived in Sunshine Homes before Arthur was, before Howie moved in. He was 2. And Sunshine Homes was like a blocks of townhouses. There were 13 blocks of townhouses, and we were in the 13th one. Howie called it Starlag 13. And but it was all parking. Like in your backyard would either go onto the housing development playground, or where I was, it went out to a little patio and grass and then down to a privacy fence to the main street. And I was standing introducing myself to my new neighbor who just moved in, who had a little girl, Jessie, the same age as Arthur. And we were talking, and Arthur was standing right next to me, and he had a ball in his hands, like a softball, and it went down the hall. And I watched him go get it, and I turned back to say something, and I looked, and my son was gone. I'm not kidding. And I ran. This is the days I could run. I was only, 28 years old, right? I ran down the hall, and Arthur was chasing the ball out between 2 parked cars, and a car was coming around the bend. And they did not go slow in these parking areas. And I went, no! Like that. And everybody stopped. Everybody. This car stopped this far from my son. And everybody stopped. I mean, like, I'm sure people out on the street who were driving by stopped. You know what I mean? But I inherited my dad's voice. I don't even know how to whisper. You can hear it across the room. Hey, Cheryl Coombs, Sheila Clark, and Wildcraft. So, I mean, those were the days. I remember my cousin Mary Jane coming to visit because my Aunt Toots and them lived only over on Albemarle, which was off of Withrow Avenue, which unless you live in the east end of Toronto, you don't know what I'm talking about. But they put us in the backyard and locked the screen door. And there was no toys out there, right? I mean, but it's like, no, stay outside, right? So, I mean, life when I was a kid was really cool. I mean, we were going through back laneways and climbing garage roofs and trees and all kinds of stuff. And we never once felt, even on Halloween, we would go way outside our comfort zone in our neighborhood to get Halloween treats. And we were never worried. My parents never worried about it. Well, maybe they did, but I didn't know about it. But, hey, Paula! You will have mail from Texas. Who? What are we talking about? Hi, Sherry. So, all this woke ideology that's going on in the world right now, I have decided it's there not just to trap us and control us, but to have us turn on each other. They're creating more divides by all this woke ideology. So here's what the plan is. I'm just going to ignore it. Just going to go on with my life. I don't want to get upset or angry at it anymore. Why? Because that just feeds the energy, doesn't it? That just feeds the energy. So what happens if everybody stops reacting to it? Well, isn't it kind of like your 2-year-old having a temper tantrum? in the middle of the grocery store and they lay down on the floor and kick and scream, walk away. I've done that. I have walked away from Briar having a fit on the floor in a grocery store. And once he realized that he was the only one in the aisle, he just got up and followed me, right? I put him in the cart. I put him in the things of the cart. It's like, that's done, right? So let's stop talking about it. If we stop talking about it, because there's nothing right now that we can do, unless, of course, you're a parent whose kids are going into school and you want to make sure that your school is communicating with you properly about your child's curriculum. But the truth is, Bev, blush me, hearts. I'm not sure I'm not sure I'm getting you, Paula. It's keeping the oxygen away from the fire. Thank you, Sheila. What a really great analogy. Keeping the oxygen away from the fire. By us reacting, and, yeah, there's people that are going to give in to all of this stuff, but I'm neither giving into it, nor am I acknowledging it anymore. Yes, I get a little pissy, right? With the woke culture. But the truth is, it's not my culture. And the less we give it energy, the less we put it in the spotlight, the sooner it'll just go away. No. Oh, nice, darling. Don't be sending me stuff. Well, I can't say that because you did ask me for my wish list and I did put it on. I did put my wish list up and I've added some stuff to it. Like, because I'm sure people went and looked at it and went, a $500 speaker? Well, the wish list is a wish list. It doesn't mean I'm wishing you will buy it for me. It's just my wish list until I can afford the things I want, which is a new camera and a new sound speaker, right? I sent Bev some love from Texas. Oh, God, love you. Well, thank you. So that's that, right? Unless it comes to my door and says, unless they come to my door and say, you got to do this and you got to do that, then I'll deal with it. But when it doesn't come to my door or hit me in the face in public, oh, the sun's coming out, then it's none of my business, right? Antagonizers seek response, so no response is deadly to them. Exactly, Philip. Exactly, right? Don't feed the fire. So I'm going to make an apron. I think I'm going to make an apron. Mine seem to be disappearing, and I honestly don't know where stuff's going. Maybe the horses are breaking in while I'm sleeping and stealing my aprons, then playing, Batman or something, Superman. Woo! Got a cape. No, sorry. So, soon we're going to be talking about the seed and card greeting card exchange over the Christmas holidays. And remember, it doesn't have to be Christmas cards. It can be Happy Hanukkah. It can be have a nice day, or I'm thinking of you, or something like that. It doesn't have to be. Christmas cards are just, the reason we do it around Christmas is because it's easier to send seeds in a card when there's just so much mail going on at Christmas time. I know. I know, Sheila, I know. Kiko, hi, how are you? So I'm warning you now, we are over halfway through August. So here's your warning, folks. Start buying the seeds, okay? Don't just buy seeds that grow in your climate. Buy seeds that grow in other people's. So start getting your seeds if you're going to be a part of the greeting card seed exchange. What do we call it? Seeds of Hope greeting card exchange. Because we're going to be doing that in the middle of November. But I'm going to be getting ready for it in October, middle of October, to get it all organized, to get the lists organized, to get everybody organized. And if you put, now what the Seeds of Hope greeting card exchange is, if you're new here, is we started this a couple of years back with a recipe exchange, but the seeds seem to work better. Go shopping then, Angela M. Hey, Joanna. Have to leave early today. Hubby and I are going out to eat to celebrate our belated anniversary. Well, happy anniversary, darling, and you have a wonderful time. That's what Howie and I, did this year. We had no expectations on our kids doing anything for our 30th wedding anniversary. We've taught them by celebrating Nan's birthdays over the years and stuff like that, and showing up at other families' anniversaries. But I guess they just were really busy. And so Howie, and then there's the fact that Howie and I were 26 years sober at the beginning of June. And we decided this year that nobody really acknowledges our sobriety because I smoke marijuana for pain. And a lot of my friends and family are or were in AA, and as far as they were concerned, a drug is a drug, and that I wasn't sober because I smoked marijuana for pain. So that's their judgment. That's their problem. They can't smoke marijuana because it would be a drug. I smoke marijuana and use an edible form of marijuana for pain. It's medicine. It's an herb to me. So nobody ever wishes me happy birthday on my dry date anymore, on my sober date, which is June 2nd, 1997. Right? So we decided, but Arthur and Mel texted us in the morning, said happy anniversary. And we got a card that day from my mother-in-law with $50 in it. So Howie said, well, let's go out to dinner. And we went to a local place that was closed on Mondays, and we ended up in a steakhouse, and you guys all saw the pictures. But the thing is we could have spent that entire steak dinner sad because nobody remembered our anniversary or our dry dates or anything else. But we chose to celebrate together and have a great time. Right? But I guess what I'm trying to say is we no longer have to define ourselves by what other people think. We really don't. And the hardest of that for me to learn was dealing with family. Okay? Just because they're family doesn't mean they have to approve, doesn't mean they have to even love me. And I'm finally at the end of my rope where I'm trying to, like, for instance, my nephew was in from Australia for 2 weeks in Toronto and Peterborough. Peterborough's only a 4-hour drive for us. Toronto's a 6-hour drive. But his birthday party, his 50th birthday, now this nephew is was more like a little brother to me than a nephew because, I was 9 when he was born and he was my gift from God. Right? Because I'd lost my mother earlier that year. And so his birthday party was in Toronto. And Mom's 85th party. Hey, Linda! Shalada buffet. Oh, well, thank you. Well, guess what, Shalada? Am I saying it right? Shalada? Is we're going. Freaky Friday did not happen last night because I wasn't feeling well, so it's Sassy Saturday tonight, so you are just in time. And Mom's 85th birthday was closer to Peterborough than Toronto, and being it is her 85th birthday and Mom's looking pretty frail, we wanted to go. We found a way to go, right? You saw the elk farm and all that stuff. But earlier in the year when my sister said he was coming down from Australia for 2 weeks, I thought, well, maybe I'll just have a little corn roast, and we'll do our anniversary and his birthday at the same time. And then when I started talking to people about it, it was like, oh, we'll see. Oh, I don't know. Well, and then my nephew said, well, maybe, but, it's going to be pretty tight, blah, 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 blah. And I realized nobody wanted to come. And I thought, It's okay. I was really, really sad when I made that realization quite recently that a lot of my family treats me treats me like, it's not that they treat me. I know they love me, but they stay away because everything I say, everything I do challenges their ideas of what it is to be awake and functioning in the world. That's the nicest way I can put it. And so I've had to accept, like, there's only like 5 family members I talk to on a fairly regular basis. I send emails. I send an email out once a month that is 40 people long. And my sister saves all my emails because she thinks they're brilliant. I don't know why she thinks they're brilliant, but it's like a newsletter. But I send it out in blank carbon copy, so nobody knows who else is getting this thing, right? Oh, don't get all upset on my behalf, Linda. I have learned acceptance, and acceptance is the key to my serenity today, right? So I had a good cry, and I talked to my sister, and I've let it go. I've let go of, because the reason people were unenthusiastic about my corn roast is because my nephew is in close contact and really good friends with other parts of my family. Like, I have a cousin who her husband is his best friend, that kind of thing. And if my nephew and them came, other people wouldn't. Because why? Because it's at my house. Right? So I thought, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm through putting myself out there to be rebuffed and turned away. The best way to not worry about how people think of you is to stop inviting them, because you only get hurt by the no's, right? So I still pray for them. I still send them Christmas cards. You know, I had a couple of cousins say, I found a cousin post that I was an oddball online, and this was a cousin I liked. I ignored them for a long time. Now if I see them, I must say hello and speak to them just to make them comfortable. Well, that's the thing, right? I'm one of those anomalies in the family that I'm treading a fine line between what they think is crazy, the crazy side of the family, and what's normal. And I walk that razor's edge, right? And I'm still recovering from my Aunt Audrey's funeral. Like, I couldn't go, right? I'm still recovering from her death and the aftermath and the before math of what was going on. And I realized for the longest time, I thought, if these people ever show up on my doorstep, I'll ask them to leave. And then I realized recently, when it takes me a long time to chew over things, bump my head against a brick wall. I don't know how many times until I realize, okay, step back and look at it. You're obviously not going through the brick wall. You have to go around. And by the time I get to the point where I have to go around, I understand the facts. But it takes me a long time to work through that stuff. Now, if those people showed up at my doorstep, I would invite them in for tea. But I won't turn my back on them, and I won't buy into their fake love. That's if they ever show up at my door again. Right? So I'm at the point where I understand and accept these people for exactly who they are. And I don't have to rub their nose in it. And I don't have to rub my nose in it either. I just will remain eyes wide open and my back always to the wall, if you understand what I'm saying. Well, thank you, Angela. All right, Sherry, I love you. I know it's an odd time for a live stream because it's Saturday and people got things to do. So, mwah, Sherry, I hope you're feeling better. So, yeah, that's why our anniversary was such a blast, because the only people that needed to be there were us, right? How we can grow and change and learn to accept and love others if we want to. Absolutely. It doesn't stop me from loving these people. And I no longer, okay, there's a tiny bit of sadness in my heart, but it's the kind of sadness where I just shake my head and go, they have no idea. They have no idea who I am. And they feel more comfortable if I say, go to a family wedding. And it's like, hi, Aunt Bev, Cousin Bev, Sister Bev, whatever. Hi. And they give me a hug. How are you? Awesome. I love you. Do you want to dance? That's great. I can deal with that. Right? But I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? They're greeting me in a public way at a public family function. Because that's the safest place for them to talk to me, because I'm not going to bring up my opinions or anything like that. So, hey, Barbara. Yeah, trust. I don't have a lot of trust for most of my family. I don't have a lot of trust. And I've learned that I can't press my opinions on people. I can't impress my thoughts on people. I can't even press truth on people. Why? Because if they're not ready to swallow it or accept it, all I'm doing is being a bitch by trying to make them hear, And so guess what? My opinion doesn't count anymore for them. That's fine. I save it all for you. Exactly, Sheila. My sister said the same thing. So it's not like I have to protect myself from them anymore. It's that the scales have dropped from my eyes, and I know I see people now, especially since just before the pandemic, the scales started falling from my eyes. And I start seeing people for who they really are. And I'm sorry. I can love them, but I got to love them from a distance, right? Anyway, that's just, so when we have our 50th wedding anniversary, God willing, I live that long. I don't know what we're going to do. But if someone throws us a big ass party, that'll be nice. I'll be very gracious. But I found out I don't need. You see, my mom, they say, was the hub of our family. A lot of our family lived on our street when I was growing up. And my mother was like the linchpin or the cotter pin that held the wheel on in the family. You know what I mean? And my mom was the second youngest out of 13. And I kind of took up her torch when she passed. See, because I was raised to believe that you don't need friends when you have this big of a family. You don't need, outside influences when you have this big of a family. Who needs it? Right? That, family is everything. And the blood is thicker than water. And I grew up carrying that torch when I found out that everybody's getting that saying wrong. When they say blood is thicker than water, they're not saying that family is more important. The whole statement is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Now, let me repeat that because I've said it before, but there's always new people. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And what that means to me is the blood of the covenant is the choices you make on who you call family. And those choices are thicker than the water of the womb. In other words, the people we choose to trust, the people we choose to protect, the people we choose to cherish, the people we choose to help and share our lives with. It's the blood of the covenant. It's a covenant. It's a promise to each other that we're family, despite the waters of the womb. Does that make sense? Hey, Rosie! I speak to my parents and 2 sisters occasionally. Well, I'm 1 out of 5 kids. I had a great talk with my brother Bob the other day. My brother Bob's the next one up from me, and we're the ones who've been so badly damaged by lead that, we're the youngest, but we're the most crippled. And we had a lovely talk on a Facebook Messenger. And we talked for probably an hour. Not face-to-face, just in messaging. And I found that since I've stopped treating my entire family, and when I say family, I mean cousins, second cousins, first cousins once removed, second cousins once removed. When I stopped treating my entire family or covering my entire family with the blanket of blood is thicker than water the way I used to understand it, when I stopped doing that, I've started finding family that's always been there in my life. But now that the noise of the judgment, the noise of all of those other things is gone, these family members have a very quiet voice, but it's a loving and supportive voice. Do you understand? And so it's like all this time I've been missing out on the really not important, but I've been missing out on the people in my family that know me, that understand me. And that's a pretty rare thing in families, believe it or not. So I guess what I'm saying is when they say you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family, that's bull. Okay? That's bull. Because the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So don't come at me saying blood's thicker than water, expecting me to accept any kind of abuse from my family, whether it's verbal abuse, or just the lack of connection. I don't have to. I love these people, but I don't have to continually try and make them a part of my life because they chose the water of the womb and not the blood of the covenant. I got a lot of family. When I say a lot of family, I have 3 or 4 cousins that I talk to on a fairly regular basis. And even if I don't talk to them, they're always there if I need them, right? And I have siblings that I love and I stay connected with. I think this isn't warm enough. I'm going to turn this up. So, life is good. Life is good. And I could add up my entire family. And if they decided they never wanted anything to do with me again, as long as I have my kids, my grandson, my husband, and my dog, I'm good. I'm good. You don't have to have the same blood to be family. Family is love, who loves everything about you or me or the next person. Yes, Linda Bopp, you're my little sister. How long have you been waiting for me to say that? Hey, Just Mom. Lives of your tea breaks the last few days. So enjoy them. Well, thank you. Hey, Paranormal Hell House. I always know you got the greatest names. I tell you. Loving your message today. Wanting to sing my mama a happy birthday. She's 70 today and her name is Susie. Absolutely. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear sweet Susie. Happy birthday to you. Mwah. And many more. And 70's not that old. I'm going to be 60 in January. I'm catching up with people. Tony G! Nicole, hello. Oh, I'm not fab. I'm just me. And I think people, this is my thing. People think I'm like this amazing person. That, but I'm not. I'm just me. I'm just who I'm supposed to be. And in a world full of woke culture, people who can genuinely be themselves are like unicorns. You know what I mean? Thank you. Thank you, Paranormal. Hey, Ninja Clan Kathy. Hello, sis. So who's to say you guys aren't my family? Right? Who's to say that one day I won't rent the town hall and a local field and throw a corn roast for my family? You know what I'm saying? I was in the hospital for my birthday, spent a week and had to have emergency surgery. What's going on, Tony? Because we haven't seen you in a while. What am I missing here? Hey, Mindy! How are you, darling? I'm getting ready for the storm to hit tomorrow. We're getting 2 inches of rain from the hurricane that has been downgraded to a tropical storm when it hits the valley in California. Wow. Wow. How are you, Mindy? Wouldn't that be fun, though? What was the surgery? Like, unless you don't feel comfortable talking about it, just say, I don't feel comfortable talking about it, okay? But we are going to send you prayers for a speedy recovery. So today, I'm taking the day off. I was going to clean today, but the fact that I slept until 10 after 1 this afternoon is the creator telling me, Bev, you need to rest a little bit, right? But I got 5 more jars of beans, the 3/4 quarts, the classical jars in the pantry. My little freezer in the pantry, my little chest freezer, is almost half full of zucchini, and it's still coming. But you know what I found out? I've been trying not to die. My stomach popped out of the abdomen wall. Oh my God. I'm in one, Tony, I'm in one now. Stinks, no surgery, but we're all doing a lot of tests. Okay, well, you know what? I'm glad that I do not live near any tropical nor windy weather. Oh, Tony G's a neighbor too. I'm hanging in, had an MRI, and will probably have to have surgery soon on my knee. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mindy. I'm telling you. I'm happy to announce that my hip and my knees are back to Bev normal. Okay, which means I have my pain. Oh, and I was in a lot of pain yesterday. And I think it was because we were getting cold weather and rain. Like, this is almost the beginning of October weather, right? I'm used to the first week of August being cold. It's almost like we have all this heat, and then the first week goes, hey, winter's coming. And then we get more heat, but the heat just hasn't come back. Not that we had a lot of it to begin with. Torn meniscus again. Oh, that's in the knee. So, yeah, I hear ya. You still have to go back to the doctor. I know, Joe. I'm actually making an appointment probably online today to go see my doctor soon. And I know she's going to want blood work, but she already had blood work for inflammatory issues. She's going to want blood work for blood sugars and all that stuff. And I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Unless I'm ill or presenting symptoms, you're not going to take blood work and go hunting for shit that I don't need. Because the last time I had blood work, they wanted me on diabetic meds preventatively and cholesterol meds preventatively. And I know for a fact, once you're on those drugs, they just keep adding more. So I'm avoiding any new drugs. As a matter of fact, I'm down to 1/4 of the lorazepam I used to take. So, and I'm almost off of it. I'll be going to the doctor soon and saying, okay, cut me down from 35 lorazepam a month down to 20, because I only take a half of one at night. But sometimes when I'm really having a hard time, I'll take the other half, but I won't even do that now. It was easier to be happy back when we were kids, not nearly as many distractions as there is today. Well, the biggest mistake I ever made was allowing my children free time with video game, like anytime they wanted, with video games and computers when they came later on. That's like, not a good idea. I drove today. Oh my God. First place I ran to was my garden. Friends have been harvesting and eating it or donating it. It took me and my husband, he took me and I harvested a ton of stuff in bags, 10 pounds each. I can only lift 20 pounds. Jesus, Tony, please be careful. You know, get a walker with a seat. When the stuff gets really heavy, I put a bag on my walker and then I walk it back up and I lift it onto the porch. We are not the same people we were even 10 years ago. Okay? Lorazepam is not an easy one to wean off. You should be very proud how far you've come. Well, 10 years ago, I was on 2 milligrams a day. And then and then the doctor keeps saying to me, how are you with the lorazepam? It's I'm afraid it's really habit forming. I'm afraid you're going to become dependent on it. I said, I've been on lorazepam for probably 15 years and I'm an insomniac. Yes, I'm dependent on it. But anything else they tried on me for a sleep med interfered with my mood meds. And that was not a good thing. It was not a good thing. So there's a lot of pharmaceuticals I can't have that I can't even name because I don't know what they are. They've tried them, they've failed. They've tried them, they've failed. So the best I can do is manage within the structure of the medications I'm on now, which is mood meds, which I've been on for 30 years, which I've gone from 250 milligrams down to 200. That's as low as I can go without a psychotic break. And I'm on a half a lorazepam, a half a milligram of lorazepam at night. And I'm on muscle relaxers for when the pain's really bad. So that is what's going on. You're all caught up. Yes. The doctors mad at me. I stopped all meds, put me into stage 3 kidney failure since I stopped taking them. My kidneys are great now, and I have a walker. Good job. I'm trying to get off metformin. I hope it helps my weight loss and never find me again. You know what's really good? If you're on metformin for diabetes, I'm going to give you a secret. If you really want to get off the metformin, okay, go raw. Go raw. Eat only for the first 30 days, if you can manage it, eat only raw vegetables, mostly leafy greens, sweet potatoes if you really want something heavy, leafy greens, nuts, avocados, tomatoes, zucchini, all of those, like do a lot, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, and fruits and vegetables. Stay away from bread, starch, complex carbohydrates. If you can go on a raw vegetarian diet or a raw vegan diet for 30 days, then you will get off your metformin. It will make your blood sugars go back to normal. And then you keep that diet, but you introduce a little bit of extras here and there, right? But always keep an eye on your blood sugar, right? I know people who are on injectable insulin that tweak their insulin whenever they want to have snacks. The insulin is there. It's something your body makes. And you can retrain your body to make insulin if you just go on a raw vegetarian diet for a while. But then when you take things back, like meat, boneless, skinless chicken, once or twice a month. Stay away from noodles and carbs and all those things. I can't do that, but we did try it, and Howie went great, but we couldn't maintain it. It was like $50 every 3 days just for food, and that was 10 years ago, right? Change the rules about talking about any type of medical advice. Well, I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you, I'm just sharing experience. that Howie went on a raw vegan and a really strict raw vegan diet. Briar and I did vegetarian to support him. So when he wasn't here, we'd have eggs and things like that. But I'm telling you, it made a huge difference. And wait a minute. So getting off the drugs, getting off any medication. Now, I am not a doctor, a pharmacist, or a biologist, or a chemical specialist in any way, shape, or form. I'm sharing my experience. And getting off of pharmaceuticals, even if they're not addictive, is harder than just saying no to drugs. Just say no to drugs. How about that? Like, I know that Howie's probably on 8 to 10 different medications. And he said to the doctor, cutting sugar out of your diet. Like, I use very little sugar. And I, when we did that unboxing, one of the things that we loved about it was there was a lot less sugar in the sweet treats than we're used to. We buy treats now and people go, oh, you're giving them cake and pie and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I use less sugar in my cakes, no frosting. I cut my sugar almost in half on all of my baking. So what I tell you and what I actually use are two different things. Like when I say 1.5 cups of sugar, I'll put 3/4 cup in. And one of the things, I got to get some frozen blueberries, wild blueberries. One of the things that Howie loves is when I'll just make a white cake, like a 2-egg white cake. And I'll use half the sugar. And just before it goes in the oven, I'll sprinkle blueberries on top and the cake bakes up. And it's a snack cake. And that'll last us all week. Howie will be taking a slice in his lunch every day, right? Hey, Mary Jane Will. The mood stabilizer one. I'll kill you the next time I am weepy. Well, I was on those when Briar was an infant. And it took them a year to get me. They started me on 50 milligrams and it took me to 250 milligrams before I stabilized. And the thing is I'm pretty bipolar, folks. Like, this was my GP doing the diagnosing back then, right? And it was a long process. She made me answer a sheet every day with 30 questions that I had to ask Howie to help me sometimes because my mood would change from morning to night. And some things I would go through emotionally, I'd never remember because they were that intense, right? This was a long time ago, right? Hi, BlackRock. So do a video on what? Oh, on that cake? I've got one. Are you kidding, guys? Go to our half-acre homestead. Look up cake, right? I was on the L for 30 years, but got off it. Well, I've been on lorazepam now for probably 10 or 15 years. And I'm on my, I'm on my third doctor since the one who put me on the lorazepam. And when she put me on the lorazepam back in the day, it was 2 milligrams, right? One during the day and one at night, or sometimes both at night. And then when she moved away to go work and live in a place that was too far for me to get to my doctor, she dropped my lorazepam from 2 milligrams a day down to 1. And I'm going, okay, right? And then then she hooked me up with a new doctor who I had to train all over again. And then Howie talked me into having a local doctor, and he was a doofus. And he was like, 12 years old and thought he knew everything about me. And he out and out lied to me about a lot of things. And then I got the doctor I have now, who I've only met twice, but I trust this doctor. I trust this doctor as much as I can trust any doctor, right? So, cholesterol meds, no thank you. Diabetes meds, no thank you. I will do the best I got. I got a shot of Ativan yesterday for my MRI, made me mean instead of calm. Poor nurses and cafeteria people. Well, Ativan and lorazepam are very similar, but I can't take Ativan. And they go, well, it's exactly the same thing. And I said, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Pharmaceutically, it's the same thing. I said, okay, then why is one named Ativan and one named lorazepam? And they go, well, one's generic. I said, obviously, I can't have the generic because it doesn't work. Like, I'm not just pharmaceutically sensitive. I'm also pharmaceutically resistant, right? Some things try and kill me. Some things don't work at all. So it's a really fine line I walk with medications. Really fine line. So like I remember when I left Psycho Rob. I moved out of Psycho Rob. I was in a messy place. He was abusive. He was not so much physically, but it was there, as mentally and emotionally abusive. And he went to great lengths to make me feel crazy. So when I moved home to my dad's, he took me to the doctor, and the doctor said, what's going on? And I told him, and he put me on Valium. Every night. Like, my sister and her kids and that were living at my dad's at the time too, because her husband was working in the city and they hadn't got a place to live yet. And every time I would take a Valium before bed, and I would just start to relax, and all of a sudden I would have this weird like a panic attack. I'd start climbing the walls. And I go, Wendy! And she would bring in this huge cup of tea, an ashtray, and a package of cigarettes, because yes, I smoked back then. And she would sit on the floor next to the bed and talk me down. Can't have Valium. Now, apparently that's what they give me for my colonoscopies, which explains why I stay awake. Right? I stay awake. I filmed my last colonoscopy. But then when I tried to quit smoking when Arthur was a baby, and the doctor gave me Librium, which is another form of Valium, which made me intensely agitated. So I can take his cannabis oil. Hi, Darlene. Absolutely. That's the royalness. That you're right, Sheila. Having a doctor that you can trust is really, really important. And so when I go see my doctor, because I've had one actual appointment with my doctor, and that was over my knees when she sent me to the hospital. So I have to do a follow-up appointment with her, and she's going to want me to do blood work for, hunting for blood sugar issues and all that stuff. And I'm going to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And I'm really hoping this is not going to terminate our relationship as doctor-patient. Because now this is a problem I had with my mother-in-law. Oh, you won't let me out of the office unless I get a C shot, a flu shot, and an ammonia shot. And I'm like, you don't have to take those. Oh, yes, I do. He won't let me out of the office. And it's like, no, you don't. You still have the right to say no, right? Hey, Matthew. Hi, darling. So when I go see my doctor, this will be the second time I've actually sat down with my doctor in 3 years. And she's going to ask me about these things, and I'm going to be honest with her. I'm going to say, look, pharmaceuticals and I don't get along, and I would rather avoid more pharmaceuticals being introduced to my body. I'm walking a fine line as it is. And I know for a fact, Diane Zook, how are you, darling? When my doctor ordered, I told him, he just took blood for a week ago. Nothing else has changed. It's all money game anyway. Oh, nothing's going on with the doctor. I'm just getting ready to make an appointment and go do a follow-up because she wants to see me about my knees and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure she's going to want me to do the 12-hour fasting blood work and then put me on, Diabetes meds preventatively, cholesterol meds preventatively. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's just the way it is. I'm not presenting symptoms. Now, maybe my dizzy spell I know for a fact my dizzy spell last night was my blood sugar bottomed out because I ate a bag of chips on an empty stomach. And chips are potatoes, and potatoes are high in natural sugars and starch. And so I am reactive hypoglycemic, which means if I say eat a chocolate bar, like a Mars bar, which is full of nougat and caramel and covered in chocolate, I can't eat one. If I eat one of those, I'll start doing the funky chicken and start sweating and getting wobbly and discombobulated, and my blood sugar will tank. It'll go down to like 4 or 3. The low, 3 is I'm ready to pass out, right? Hey, Catsy, Stacy Robbins, Catherine M. Hello, darling. And Stacy, hi. So Ablify makes my insomnia 1 gazillion times, but I'm getting things done with only 4 hours sleep. Yes, spiked my sugar and I crashed. So I'm actually really careful. Like, you don't always see me eat on camera. And when I give Howie a plate, I take like 1/3 of what he eats. And if I do take even half of what he eats, the dog or he gets the rest because I can only eat so much. You made me laugh when I saw the video. The video of us taking I hope we get another one of those boxes. That was fun. And if we get another one of those trytreats.com boxes, I'll do it live. I said no to the nose Q-tip yesterday. You should have seen the freak out. I won the battle on no Q-tip. I'm not here. Yeah, you're not getting anywhere near my pineal gland with one of them long things. Just saying. Red yeast rice. Really? Red yeast rice. So I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a chemical engineer or anything like that. I just know that when Howie went to the doofus doctor, the one that we had short, who was like 12 years old, and Howie said, how do we get me off of half these pills? Like, there's got to be a way that I can like cut back on these pills. And the guy said, do you want to live? And he said, yeah. And he said, then keep taking your pills. Right? So why would I deliberately put myself on a medication that my body is going to rely on, like lorazepam, to function normally? So my nose is exit only too. Exactly. Except for the occasional finger, just kidding. It was my knuckle. I had to tell my doctor, don't tell me what to do as far as jabs go when you only see me 15 minutes every 6 or 8 months. I take charge of my own health. Bravo. Gotta be Kadeen. How are you, darling? So I can't necessarily remove all chemicals from our lives, but I'm doing the best I can. And the first major step was always gardening organically. Right? So anyway, we've been on here for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Does anybody want a prayer? Do we want a prayer before we leave? Most doctors are nothing more than drug dealers to keep you coming back. Well, I don't want to say that, Mindy, because I remember what doctors were like when I was a kid. My family doctor made house calls when I was a kid. When Briar came home from the hospital and got some kind of, because we smoked in the house, he got a cold immediately. And the doctor made a house call because he was only a week old, 2 weeks old. So she said, I'll stop in on my way when I'm done at the office for the day. Those are the good old days, right? Yes, prayer, absolutely. Okay. I do not want a prayer. A prayer for me is wasted, so make one less in this direction. You know what, Philip? We're going to pray especially for you. Now, I want to explain something to you before we do this, Philip. Our prayer is not a religious prayer. Our prayer when we close is a connection that you have with your higher power and a connection I have with mine. There's no religion here. There is no religion here. There's just us connecting with the God of our understanding. And if you don't believe, that's okay. You can stay just for the feeling of comfort that it gives some people. All right? But we're not, everybody here who stays for the prayer we're all individuals. We all have different ideas on how this works. So when I say prayer, you might want to look at it more like a spiritual blessing, right? And because you think it's wasted on you, we're gonna include you especially. Why? Because you're worth it. Everybody here is worth love. Everybody deserves love, and that's all we do is share our love. Absolutely, Linda. No prayers are wasted. Consciousness. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Linda Metcalf. How's it going? I'm sorry, I got to blow my nose. And no, I just didn't put snot in my eyes. I folded my Kleenex. So, anyway, for all those who care to, and if you've never done this before, I encourage you to stay only long enough to see if it's if it resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay too, right? Hey, bird lover. I got my results back from my MRI, and my back is messed up to the point that my chiropractor wants me to see a neurosurgeon. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm so sorry. We will keep you in our thoughts always, but just keep coming back, Matthew, because Shell and Linda Bopp are essential, especially since we lost Dallas Red. Dallas, or Candace, was the moderator from hell in a good way, right? She was just like bang, bang. It's almost like Seashell and Linda Bopp learned from her. But she's now out of pain, and she's with her maker, and all the babies she lost. She had like 5 miscarriages in her life. She never had children. And so now she's in a place where everywhere is love, and there is no sadness and there is no joy. Like some people might think that people are looking down from us on heaven and going, no, and they're weeping and they're no, because guess wherever they are, it's all about love. And so when I do something stupid, or I'm sad, or I think God, my higher power isn't listening to me, or I miss my parents, they're not up there. They're not, wherever they are, worried about me, because they're beyond worry. They just shake their heads and go, you'll get here. You'll get here. You'll figure it out. Because one day you'll be here and there's nothing left but love, right? Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, Joe, didn't you know? She passed on July 13th. Candace Red did. Dallas. Yeah. Dallas Red did. Yeah. And she was an amazingly, I'm getting chills just thinking about her. So I think she's in the room. We never got to meet, but it didn't stop us from being really, really tight. You know what I mean? So for all those who you do not plan on surgery, or you do not want their surgery, you could be happy without such major interruption. Yeah, I loved her too. And now she's in a place where, see, when people pass, they don't necessarily leave us. We keep them with us to a certain degree in our hearts, right? But we are sad because they are no longer a part of our daily life. And that's really hard to let go. But the truth is, they're not sad at all. It's us who are left behind when they've gone on to glory. You know what I mean? I don't want back surgery at the moment. Back surgery scares me. Well, you might have to go to get, you tell that to your doctor. Tell that to the neurosurgeon, because it's their job to explain it to you so that you feel comfortable. And if ever at any time you don't feel comfortable with the treatment options, then you need to talk to somebody about that, because your fears are valid and your feelings are important, right? Okay, here we go. Now that I've warned everybody that we're going to be doing our spiritual blessing, so people have started to leave. And if you're leaving and this isn't your cup of tea, there's no judgment, nothing. I'm glad you came. Take care. God bless. And sayonara with our love. Absolutely. For the rest of us, I got to go to the bathroom before we do this. No, I should be able to manage. All right. For the rest of us, let's do some deep breathing. Breathe in the peace, breathe out the chaos, breathe in the love, breathe out the fear. Okay? Breathe in, visualize breathing in pure, clean air, and visualize what's coming out of your mouth as a puff of black gunk soap, smoke, poof. And it, visualization is really important too. Okay? Hey, KB. Hi, Karen. How are you, darling? All right, deep breath. Hey, God. Source, creator, source of all. How's it going, God? Thank you, God. I got to say right off the bat, thank you for the massive amount of sleep I got. I feel like I caught up a year's worth of sleep last night. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I'm feeling better today. Thank you, God, for all of our friends and our family that show up here when we do a live stream, who share their lives and their stories with us. And we are a community, God. And we couldn't do that without you, because, we just want to say thank you, God, for all the blessings in my life. There's a lot of people out there, God, who are having a hard time accepting their blessings, counting their blessings, because there's just so much negative noise in the world today that it's like a thick black fog sometimes. And you can do this, but it doesn't part the fog. We know what parts the fog, God, is the light of your love. All right. So God, we ask you, as we lift everybody up who needs prayer, who needs healing, who needs love, who needs to know that their lives are important and that their souls are beautiful, but they just can't see it because of the negative smoke. So God, we lift all of these people up to you for healing and love and light and laughter. And may your love and divine light pour down on us all and fill us so full of the light of your love that we glow with it. And we don't have to preach. People will come to us and say, why are you so happy? Or how do you get through this? Well, we tell them it's because of you, right? You fill us full of love. You fill us full of light. And we reach out our hands, and we reach out across the world, and we join hands with the covenant of people who are our blood, our covenant blood, God, because we all know we all came from one place, and therefore we are family. We are family. Thank you, God, for bringing us together in the light of your love. And may, as we go forward into next week, we go forward in light and love, joining hands across the world and parting the darkness before us as we go, because you gave us that power. So thank you. Amen. Shalom. Namaste. Peace be with you. Merry meet, merry part, blessed be. Walk in the shining light of God. It doesn't matter what you say, as long as the language is love. Love pierces any veil and any smoke. And don't forget today, folks, that I wasn't well last night. Freaky Friday was last night. Thank you, Seashell. Tonight, it's Sassy Saturday at about 7 o'clock. We're going to start. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to listen to music, and we're going to put on the disco lights. And we're just going to take all this joy and, shake off any negative residue from the week before. And we're just going to have fun and dance and sing. Okay. So for those of you who are patrons, I will see you at Sassy Saturday tonight. And we'll have some fun. Walk in the light of God's love, because whether you believe it or not, it's for everybody. And if you're not there yet, we'll be there for you, and we'll take you along with us. Take care. God bless. And remember, we have a live here tomorrow at 4 o'clock, right? So take care. God bless. Mwah! I love you guys. Where's Danny Boy? Did I miss Danny Boy? Danny Boy! Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. Yeah, I'm not in the finest of voice today. I love you guys. Take care. God bless. Mwah. Know you're loved. And I can love you without ever seeing your face, because my heart sees you. God gave me that. I love you. Bye-bye.